Hello, everyone. This is Brian Ferguson, the host of Bumps and Thumps, the talk of wrestling. I want to tell you about a new podcast out called Falls Count Anywhere. It is a classic pro wrestling podcast that brings you the legends of wrestling with true wrestling fans Chris DiCarlo and Charlie Turner. They bring on guests that are legends in this business, and as well as wrestlers of today, promoters, referees, you name it, they have them on there, folks. And I encourage you to listen to them. If you're on YouTube, watch them. They drop every Saturday. They have their podcast. They drop it in the afternoon. So look forward to that podcast coming out. Falls Count Anywhere podcast with Chris DiCarlo and Charlie Turner. Folks, you will not be disappointed. I guarantee it. And enjoy the podcast. Bumps and Talk of Wrestling. I'm Brian Ferguson. My guest today is a rising star in the independent pro wrestling circuit. He is currently the one half of the tag team champions of the Mid-State Wrestling with Cannonball Matthews, known as the Fraternity. They recently beat Toxic Masculinity, the Johnnies, in Springfield, Missouri, a few weeks back at the Relic Center. My pleasure to introduce Mr. Alan Jefferson, the Aerial American. Thanks for coming on today.
Thanks for having me, Brian. Happy to come spend a little time with you. Show off the hardware a little bit.
The belt looks good on you, my friend. It looks good on you.
I agree.
All right, so if we could a little bit, let's talk about growing up, where you grew up at, and some schooling, if you went to college or anything like that.
Yeah, man, for sure. So I grew up in a little town about 100 miles northwest of Springfield called Walker, Missouri. So grew up in Walker, Missouri as an only child in a town of about 200 people. So not the most exciting growing up, coming out there. So not a ton to do. I did have a neighbor, a trampoline, and we had access to wrestling. So we were out there all the time growing up, man. I was pretty sure I was going to get crippled as a kid from the camel clutch on the trampoline because you don't get out of that when it gets locked in by your schoolmates,
Yeah.
So and I came by it starting young. Yeah, I grew up in a real small town and kind of grown up, obviously not the biggest guy around, but always had a love of sports, man. Anything sports. Love sports. Came home from the hospital in a Chiefs jersey. Dad brought me up on it, honestly, right? So we're sports guys. I played baseball and basketball growing up because those are the only two sports my school offered, right? I graduated with 16 people. Like, it was a tiny little thing, but we're out there 2 seasons of baseball a year, basketball, just always trying to find something to do. Backyard wrestling, trampoline wrestling, like doing the whole shebang. Lots of yard football, stuff like that. Kept on going there. Go for it.
No, I was just going to say that's great. Keep going. I was just going to ask you about your college, but keep going, please.
Yeah, so did the high school thing, right, and finished that up, and went to Missouri State. Actually, went to Missouri State and was Boomer the Bear. So always had a little bit of love of performing too. Yeah,
that's cool.
Yeah, so I was Boomer the Bear for 5 years. My senior year of high school, I had been dead set my whole life as a kid. I was going to go to University of Mizzou, was going to be a Tiger, right? I was going to go to Missouri, be a Tiger, do that whole thing. Then Missouri State came along and offered me a full ride academic scholarship, and I'm the son of a couple poor people from nowhere in Missouri, so can't really pass up free money, right? Got to do that,
right?
And senior year of high school, I was trying to decide, like, what am I going to do, right? What do I want to do in college? Because you want to go to college, you want to be somebody, you want to do something, right? So I was looking around the website, trying to find out what to do, clubs I could kind of pursue and things like that. And saw an advertisement for Boomer's Crew, which is like a mascot crew. They were looking for 1 or 2 experienced mascots to go on and to join the crew for the next year and be the mascot. So I had sent the guy an email and been like, hey, my name's Chase Thompson. I'm interested, kind of doing the thing and trying to see if there was any interest. And he sent me a email back, was like, yeah, let me know, any qualifications you got, anything like that, we'll consider looking for people. And so I told them that I was the mascot for 4 years at Northeast Fraternity County High School, and had done all that and wanted to move up to a collegiate level. And I was really hoping that we were small enough and that like it was kind of a busy enough job that he wouldn't bother doing any research to find out that Northeast Fraternity County didn't actually have a mascot. And to my luck, he didn't. He called me one day and he's like, hey, come up for an interview. Come up for an audition, right? Like, try it out and we'll have you see how you do. So I was like, okay, cool. I'm in, right? Drove up and got to the campus, got there. There was a girls' volleyball game happening the same day, right? I went to the gym where I was going to meet this guy for this tryout, and there was a girls' volleyball game happening. I was like, oh, that's cool, and asked some questions and found the guy I was looking for. And he was like, okay, cool. For your audition, you're going to go mascot this volleyball game. I've never been in a mascot suit before in my life, right? Never before. And so I was like, okay, yeah, no problem. I got this. So he takes me back to the cage and shows me where the suit is. And he's like, okay, go get dressed. We'll come out. So I go out there, I put the suit on, I zip it all up, right? And I get everything out, get the head on, I walk out there, and he starts laughing. He goes, ha ha, very funny. Now put the suit on the right way. I put it on backwards. I didn't know how it went on. And I was like, yeah, that's a funny joke, right? Yeah, that's great. So I went back and I zipped it up the right way and put it on the way you're supposed to, went out, and I walked out there trying to get used to the feet in the big old fat suit. I was in high school. I was 95 pounds, right? Senior year, like I didn't weigh nothing. And navigating this big suit around, I got down there and I didn't know jack, right? I found a couple kids. I started shaking hands, dancing with some kids. They played the fight song, started wiggling my little bare butt, that kind of thing. And next thing, finished the deal, went back up to talk to him. And he's like, yeah, I think we got a spot for you. And so found out there were a couple of people that tried that did have a little mascot experience that didn't make it. And so sorry to those people, like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
But no, I had
That's
to,
cool.
that love of performing, man. Just gotta find a way to do it, right?
That's awesome. That's a great story, actually. That's interesting. That's a new one for me. I haven't heard of that one about the mascot.
Yeah.
That's
When
and that's
he,
not a and that's a demanding job too. I mean, it's pretty. You get pretty hot in that suit, and especially at football games and stuff. If you got to be running around and
oh yeah, man. Whenever I had started, so Missouri State, how out here in Springfield, Missouri, they put out a Plaster Sports Complex, and right before my freshman year, they had some lights up on the stadium, and during like a summer scrimmage, one of the lights fell. Like it fell and crashed into the stadiums whenever there were people there. Nobody got hurt, thank goodness, right? Everybody was okay. But because that light had fallen and crashed, like it could have caused serious damage and could have hurt people. So they took all the lights down. And so their solution coming into the school year for August, September football was they were going to have every single one of Missouri State's games played at noon in Missouri in August. That suit gets anywhere from about 20 to 50 degrees hotter inside than it is outside. So those days where the needle's putting 90, 100 degrees, you're sweating out there 140 degrees in that suit, man. Like I was in pretty good shape because I did all the sports in high school, but I would come out just buckets of sweat, man. There was nothing. You come back for a break and you just crash. It was crazy.
I couldn't even imagine. Yeah. So went to college, graduated, and let's talk about getting into wrestling. What made you decide to get into professional wrestling?
Sure. Good question. So as I mentioned before, grew up in a tiny small town and there's just not a whole lot to do, right? But one of the things that I did was there was a neighbor kid across the street and he was real big into wrestling, and so was my dad, right? And we watched wrestling constantly. That was our deal. We did the channel flip between WWF, WCW, we do the back and forth. Heart and soul, my dad was always a WWF guy. So WCW never really had a chance. Once Hogan turned, that was pretty much it for dad too. He couldn't take Hogan as a bad guy. So that was the end of that. But we would get the WrestleManias and the Royal Rumbles as a special treat that mom just hated, that kind of thing. And so there was always a love of pro wrestling that was there. And then I went and I was doing the mascot thing, and I had actually had kind of my dream was I was going to pursue that on a professional level, right? I was doing a little bit of work for the Springfield Cardinals and things like that and some other organizations around town, and was trying to get some tapes out to do that full time. over the summer and year round when I graduated, I had a summer job at a warehouse and had a little accident with a ladder and partially exploded a couple of discs in my spine. And for
Ow.
about a year and a half, it was pretty debilitating. And
Yeah.
I couldn't do the mascot thing anymore, right? Like
Yeah. Yeah.
that high level of athleticism. So that kind of killed that dream, right? And that was done a little bit. So rehabbed the back and stayed in shape and stuff, and had kind of put wrestling to bed a little bit. When I late high school started to grow out of it just a little bit, but then in college, looking for stuff to do, and found some college buddies who were still into it, and I'd watch with them and got back to watching pay-per-views, and I thought, man, as a kid, I wanted to do it. They were the superheroes on TV, right? There were always those superheroes that I could watch in real life. And I'd always wanted to do it. And dream had kind of buried a little bit. And then from buddies watching wrestling, Jimmy Fiasco and I helped, he knew somebody who was training down with Jason in the mid-states and said, hey, there's a guy training wrestlers. And shot him a message, gave him a call, scrapped some money together and went down for some tryouts, man. That first bump, so went first day down there, took my first bump, wasn't quite sure what I was doing, didn't really know about the whole exhaling thing, absolutely knocked the wind out of myself, thought I was going to die. First bump I took. Plastered myself there, and I was like, this is a horrible idea. What am I doing? Right?
Yeah.
I could never do this. Got up, did my second one. It felt great. And immediately from that second bump, that was it, right? I was going to do this, and that was going to be the thing. And here we are, about 6 years later.
Yeah. Oh, 6 years. I mean, I got to tell you, I saw you. I went to my first Mid-State show probably 2 years ago now. And I remember you were on the card. You weren't with Cannonball yet. You were just a single wrestler. But I was like, this guy's pretty good, And you had a good your character, you're the aerial American. You come out all, it was great. Yeah. I'll be honest, when I saw you again, probably a year later, and you're with Cannonball, and you kind of shifted a little bit.
A little bit of an attitude shift, yeah.
Had a little attitude, but and that's good though. But I want to, if I could, Alan, is talk about what was your first match like, and where was it?
So my first match was actually it was back. I'd been training about a year, and I went with on a little road trip with Jason Jones and Joey Corman. Took a few of us down. Johnny Dynamite actually was on the road trip with me. We had our first match together. We were masked up as the Matadors for the League of Lions Wrestling down in Texas. Went down there, and we were in a tag team match against Jason and Joey, and that was our There in the Hood. And that was our first ever matches together. Did that, man. It was a blast. We, looking back, we were so excited and we were so confident we're going to go out there and we're going to kill it. And I can look back and know that we didn't know anything, man. Like, looking back at it, there's some goofy stories from there, the memories, but that was that first time, getting in the ring and really getting to do something and feel a crowd and feel a crowd kind of coming back at you.
Yeah.
Boy, that's a feeling you've been chasing ever since, man. You can't get enough of that.
Oh, you guys, I love Mid-States, and I'll tell you why. I love it because it is very fan oriented. When you walk in that door, I don't care if it's in Harrison, Springfield, wherever you're at, it's like you guys are fan oriented. You embrace the fans. You come, talk to them. You'll take pictures with them. And what I love the most is the fact that none of you push your merchandise. None of you. And that's such a refreshing thing. Because I've been to some indie shows in the past and, hey, why don't you buy my shirt for, $20 or whatever? And I'm like, it's just kind of a turnoff. When I go and visit with you, we had our pictures taken and stuff, and you guys were cool. You had your little petition up and all that stuff. That was awesome. I loved it. And I said, I looked at your stuff and I bought a picture. You guys signed it, and That's great. That's the atmosphere I think that's missing. And when you guys come out too, you guys are all, got your little petition up there. You're shaking your clipboard, and I got to ask you, how'd you come up with? Did you come up with that gimmick,
So
or,
so I
or how
did.
did that come about?
Yeah, so I did.
Wrestling fans, promoters, wrestlers, and anyone who enjoys pro wrestling now have something new to be excited about. The Wrestling Fans International Association, the WFIA, is back. WFIA is an association that exists to promote, grow, and support professional wrestling throughout the world. Membership is free. Your membership includes a free digital bi-monthly publication of the Wrestling Fan News newsletter, association updates, voting privileges, and much more. Please go to thewfia.org, that's thewfia.org, and become a member today.
So with the gimmick, they say that the best gimmicks are you to 11, right? And that's kind of where it comes from. And
Yeah.
when I'd started, I started out babyface and was the aerial American, and even where that had come from. So, man, I'm a real patriotic soul, and I always have been. My father was in the National Guard for 35 years, and he is my hero. He's my absolute hero. He's my best friend. I love my dad to death, and he was a career soldier, and I just love what being an American is, and that true pride you can get. And I know the country's not always great, and there are things we do that aren't great, and there are people that aren't great, but like I am proud of who I am, and I'm proud of where I'm from, and like that
Yep.
American spirit, I do believe it's a thing, right? And I believe it reigns true, and that's what kind of fueled the babyface character. And when the turn happened, I wanted to stick it with it. I wasn't ready to give that up, but like, how do you be, the good guy, or how do you be the bad guy, and how do you be the patriot, right? Like a few have done it. Kurt Angle, we managed to see it, but
Yeah.
when it had happened, it is organic because I've been politically inclined a little bit and done the rallies and the support, and like trying to drum up and do petitions and things like that. And I was
Yeah.
in my brain that when I knew it was coming up, I was trying to figure out. When the turn happened, I hadn't figured it out quite yet. Like, where's this going to go? How am I going to do this? And we went and we done the match, and had attacked Ryan and that kind of thing, and then thrown the big fit and trotted out, and that was the start of it. And I got to the back, and Terry Zeller, our GM, he came back and he said, "Hey, just so you know, let them all know you're suspended for 30 days, right? You've been fined, suspended for your actions, that kind of thing." And I was going, and I was getting into it and getting mad and just kind of letting myself stew on that, right? And like, it is what it is, but I just kind of let myself build on it and let myself stew and didn't let myself come down from the match and got hot. And I got out of there, and I just grabbed my phone and I just pulled out and I cut a little promo on my phone, right? Just grabbed and threw it out. And it was, "This is unfair. I'm being targeted. I'm doing my job. I'm being punished for nothing. I have a right to work. I'm protesting this," right? Because I was like, I'm just going to throw a fit. I'm going to be obnoxious. People hate people that come up with the petitions on the street, right? And, "Hey, sign this. Hey, do this. Hey, do that." It's obnoxious. But you know what? I'm an American. I'm a patriot, and I've got my rights, and I'm going to exercise my rights. And maybe that right includes hitting you in the head with a clipboard,
Yeah.
Did you ever wonder what could have been with the AWA had things gone differently? Had their fortunes gone differently? Had certain wrestlers not left and perhaps more money would have been at the disposal of the Gagnes? Well, wonder no further. You can go to Brad Drake's YouTube channel and experience the 1987 Supermod for yourself, as Brad Drake starts off in May 1987 along with Greg Gagne, Baron Von Raschke, Vern Gagne himself, Nick Bockwinkel, Larry Zbyszko, Kurt Hennig, and a slew of others as he plays and saves the AWA.
No, I love it, and I love you and Cannonball, and I'm going to be honest. You guys remind me of Chad Gable and Otis. Have you been told that?
Oh yeah, all the time. We
okay, yeah. You guys. I mean, every time I look at you two, I'm thinking Chad Gable, Otis. Chad Gable out there. And you're the guy that's causing all the havoc, and Cannonball's behind you. The muscle, yeah, he's the muscle coming up behind you like Otis, and it's a great concept. I absolutely love it, and your feud with toxic masculinity. I know you didn't like me that night because I wore their shirt.
It's gross.
It was, it
Gross.
was, I wasn't going to wear it, but I was like, you know what? I just got this shirt. I got to wear it. I know Alan and Cannonball won't be very happy, but, it'll be okay. So, but that feud of yours, I mean, you guys have such chemistry together, the four of you. And, sometimes it can go riffraff, but you guys, every time, it seems like it's just in sync. I mean, is it just because you guys are so? Talk to us a little bit about that. How that chemistry works for you guys, if you could.
So you're gonna make me say good things about those nasty Johnnies, aren't you? You're gonna make me do it.
I just want to know how your matches, because you did defeat them 2 weeks ago.
That's right, we did.
Okay,
That's right, we did.
You did. You got the belt. Yes. I'm just saying, you guys. People look forward to those matches. That match. And sometimes some tag teams. What I mean is, some tag teams you tag in with, they're not. They're just, okay, good. It was good. You guys like fireworks, like the 4th of July, like it was Tuesday night here. I mean, is that how you guys feel in the ring? I mean, you and Cannonball working with those guys?
Yeah, I mean, so I was gonna say, you say that that people look forward to the matches. Man, I do too. Like, legitimately, if I had to pick, my favorite opponents, you could call me any day of the week and say, get in the ring with one of Toxic Masculinity and just go, and I would do it in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
We've been training together for years, and I know those guys inside and out. I probably know them better than they know themselves, and vice versa, right? Like, that's a deal where, like, I know those guys in and out, and it's that communication, it's that chemistry. Kind of like you said, man, it's just, you got people that you just know you can work with without a doubt, right? And that you just look forward to, because when you get in there, it's going to be magic. Even tagging with Cannonball, like, I love wrestling, and I love what I was doing. Tagging with him, that put a whole new shot of life into my career, man. Like, I'm having more fun doing this now than I ever had doing anything.
I was going to tell you that I think you've hit like that stride since you've teamed with Cannonball, and I've seen such a difference in your chemistry with other wrestlers. I've seen your abilities when you get on the mic. You're more, you just have it all together. I'm not saying you didn't before. I'm just saying it's come out a lot more in the last since you've teamed with Cannonball, and I think that's great because I've always thought of you when I first saw you. He's a good wrestler, and I was hoping that you guys would get your stride. I've always liked the Johnnies. No offense, but I've liked them. Okay,
they have got to, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, and I like you guys too, and I think it's great that I could actually root for either team. Like when you guys won the tag team titles a couple weeks ago, I was very happy because I like you two. I think you guys got it going on. I like the Johnnies too, but they gotta lose sometime, right?
That's it. That's right. No, man.
And what better team to lose to than you?
That's it. The fraternity's here, baby. Like, that's it. It's our time, and we're here for it. And it's special. It really is. And I've always looked forward to, any match that I have. Like, wrestling's a thing. It's a joy. I'm so blessed to get to do it. And like you said, we don't have to hawk the shirts or push the shirts. Everybody likes to eat. Everybody likes to have a little bit of money, but that's not what it's about, right? Like, I'm getting to do this. I'm getting to live this dream out. And one of the things, man, like being the baby face, I had that connection with the kids, and it was so much fun, right? Like, I love that. And because again, that's what got me into it, was they were my superheroes, and I wanted to be that superhero. And I was a little apprehensive when they talked about turning me, right? Because I was like, well, I can, I'd be a bad guy, but like, I love that connection with the kids, and I love putting that smile on their faces. But man, they have more fun giving me hell. Like, the counter petitions, I don't know if you see that the little kids, they've got the counter petitions. They're all over our table, man. Like, it's more interactive now. I'm getting more time with the kids than I did as a baby face. And you know what? I'll have at it. I'll fight with a 5-year-old all day. Bring it on.
Yeah. Yeah. If I was the guy in charge, I might say, you might want to see old Stephen E. come on over and help you out a little bit. I don't know. I'm just throwing stuff out there.
Do you ever wonder what would happen if
you give a dad a podcast?
Ladies and gentlemen,
Just settle this debate right here, right now. It's not even just the greatest PlayStation game. It's the greatest game ever.
Not to toot my own horn, but
Exactly.
Yeah, I remember he kicked me so hard I thought I owed him money.
I love it. I'm excited for this one.
He goes, "What is your name?" And I was like, "It's Thrash."
I'm getting punched in the face on the daily.
Man, this guy will shut up.
I wear that as a badge of honor.
Yeah, I got knocked out cold in that match. It was awesome. So awesome.
We make dogs sing.
Do you always do these interviews with your shirt off?
going live in 3, 2, 1.
So now we've been filming for the last 6 months.
I panicked.
Followed by.
Bro.
If You Give a Dad a Podcast, available everywhere podcasts are found.
You know, I actually got approached by Stephen E. not too long after Cannonball and I managed to pick up these beauties right here.
Yeah.
So he came up and said that he had some bright ideas for our future. But you know what? I do respect Stephen E. a lot and what he brings to the table. But yeah. I know we managed to get these on our own, and I think we may just have a couple of legs on our own too. But I know where his phone number is if I need him.
All right. Well, you know, he's the manager of champions.
It's true. I learned that he likes to find champions. I don't know how many he might.
Oh, all right. A couple more questions for you there.
Oh yeah.
The Fraternity. How did you come up with that name for your tag team?
Sure. No, I'm glad. Yeah. So we for a while we were just kind of fighting as Cannonball Matthews and Alan Jefferson, right? And we were trying to find some identity, some name, something that wrapped up kind of who we were and what we brought to the table, kind of what we were and what we represented and that sort of thing. And for a while we considered just sticking with our names. We wanted something a little bit special. And Cannonball is the star alumni of Better Than You University, right? And the Fraternity just kind of makes sense because it's a collegiate thing, but it's a little bit more than that. I'm a proud member of the Elks. The Missouri Elks have been for about 11 years, right? And that in itself, that's a brotherhood. That's a fraternity. Yep. And that's what I think one of the strongest, bonds of American culture is those fraternities, those brotherhoods, people who have each other's back. And I don't think anything better reflects what Cannonball and I have. That dude is legitimately one of my best friends. I think he's the heart and soul of the fraternity. I've never seen anybody work harder in a wrestling ring training. That dude takes 0 days off. I could sing Cannonball's praises all day. We've been up and down the road. We ride to training. We ride to shows. He legitimately is my brother. And that's what the heart of the fraternity is. It's a brotherhood. And that's why we can't lose, because you can't beat that, Yeah. You can't break up brothers.
No, you can't break up brothers. No, you cannot. Let me ask you this. Besides toxic masculinity, who are, either as a singles or tag team, one of your favorite people to work with? You already talked about Cannonball, but either as an opponent or as a tag team, besides those three, who's been like a person you've really enjoyed working with?
So, man, there's a ton of names I could list because you find something special in almost every match. If it really means something to you, you can find something to love. But one of the biggest memories when I was really first getting going, when Alan Jefferson was first finding his legs and kind of doing his thing, we had the Rising Star Battle Royal and had done that. And the next time we came back to Springfield, my first singles match in my hometown, I got to work with Matt Riviera. And Matt Riviera, man, he's a legend, right? He's excellent and he's real good. And he was battling for the Mid-States title at the time, was kind of feuding for that. But he picked me out and he had a fight with me, and I managed to pull out a big upset win over Matt Riviera in my first big singles match in Springfield. And the crowd was just electric, it was on fire. And that right there was I'm going to do this until I die, right? That was that moment that I'm going to wrestle until my legs fall off. It's not stopping. I'm going to chase that high forever and give Matt Riviera a huge shout out. That dude, ultimate professional. I was so nervous, I was new, I was figuring my things out, and he made it so easy, man. It felt like butter. It's just so easy to work with. Outside of that, man, I love the Blue Bolt. I'd fight the Blue Bolt all day. I've tagged with him. I've fought against him. We've had wars. We've gone up and down. I always know that I can get a good one out of him too.
Awesome. That's great. That's good to hear. No, I've Matt Riviera. I haven't seen him in a while, but I remember him down in TCW and all that. Yeah, back in the day. Yeah.
He's doing big things. Kind of stepped away. He managed to step away right as our feud was heating up a little bit too. So if he ever decides to get it going again, if he ever decides to lace him up again, Alan Jefferson's got a whole new attitude ready to.
You got a whole new attitude. Yeah. Oh, that's great. Let's talk a little bit, if we could, Alan, about matches coming up for you. Do you work for other promotions as well as just besides Mid-States, or are you working with New Breed or?
So doing a little bit there. Recently went up and did some TV with SICW. And worked with them, and looking forward to the chance to get back up there some more and do some more things with them. They're a great group of guys up in SICW who are just excellent people. Big fan of the guys out there. Done a little work with WFC. Would love to get back down there again. Scheduling stuff's just been a little bit tricky, but been out there right now. Just kind of getting the schedule figured out a little bit. Doing the Mid-States primarily, but would love to get a chance. I know talked to a couple guys at New Breed. Want to make that schedule work and get up there because they do some fun stuff up there too.
Yeah. Well, your next title defense. Is that going to be in Springfield? I couldn't remember if it's
that
there
will
or
be
Harrison.
In Springfield, August 12th.
August 12th.
August 12th. Toxic's going to come on back to Springfield, and we're going to send him right back out again. Brian, we're just going to kick him right back out, just like we did last time.
Hey, it was a good match. It was a very good match. It was probably, to me, one of, if not the best, top two. I thought the Luke Langley match was and Colton Colton when they wrestled.
They're so good, man.
They both are. They're both just fantastic, and you guys are such a prominent independent promotion. I mean, every time I'm there, it's sold out at the Relic Center. I know it is in Harrison too. So it's not, it's great. You guys put on great matches. And I know probably everybody gets along in the back and stuff, but I mean, are you all really like pretty good buds and get along well and all that for the most part, or?
Trying to, some people say don't pull back the curtain too much, anything like that.
Right.
But I'll go ahead and say it, man. Mid-States wrestling, like that whole locker room is a brotherhood. Like I've been in a lot of locker rooms, and I've been in a lot of great locker rooms. I can honestly say I have never been in a locker room that feels so much like a family as that Mid-States locker room, man. Like after shows, everybody breaking things down, getting together. Like it's nothing but support. There's that support for each other and that friendly rivalry of, hey, you went out and killed it, I'm going to go do it better, right? Like we feed off that. That's the thing, is everybody wants to steal the show. Everybody knows their place, but everybody wants to fire that pistol and have that match of the night, right? Like it's cool. And August 12th, just a reminder, the Johnnies asked for this. They invoked their rematch clause. So when we kick their butts again, they asked for it. All I'm going to say.
I mean, I will be there. I might have one of my grandkids with me. They're going to be here, but I got to talk to my wife about it. She's kind of, but I will be there. And absolutely. I am looking forward to it. You guys, like you said, that promotion there, every match, it's kind of builds up to be better and better and better. And I'm not just saying that because I'm talking to you and we're wearing Mid-States Wrestling shirts. I'm saying that because I truly believe it and I've seen it. And it's such an amazing thing that a promotion that, is an indie and you're a part of it that can make that kind of success. And, it's because of you guys. If you didn't have quality wrestlers like you guys, like you and Cannonball, your enemy, Toxic Masculinity, and all the others, it wouldn't thrive. I mean, you could, and I applaud you guys for that because I know it takes a lot of work. It's not just you show up Saturday an hour before the match and you're going. I mean, you've got your training, you're doing a lot of things. Talk about that a little bit. Talk about your training. I mean, how many times a week do you train, and how do you? I mean, what's kind of your routine, if you don't mind asking?
No.
Hey everyone, this is Brian Ferguson, the host of Bumps and Thumps, the talk of wrestling. I want to talk to you today about my friends over at Superfriends Signatures. These guys have all kinds of wrestling products, past and present. They sell action figures, autographed pictures, you name it, they have it. My friends David Harrow and Brian Koenig, they are the real deal. Go to their website today, superfriendsignatures.com, or go to their Facebook page, Superfriends Signatures. Check them out, folks. You will not regret it. They have great prices and great deals on all kinds of products. And every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Central Time, they have an auction online at their Facebook page. So please check it out, Superfriends Signatures today, and enjoy the podcast.
Absolutely, man. So, and before we dive into that, I want to backtrack just a little bit, because I do totally agree with you when you say that, the talent is what makes the show, and the talent that we have that comes in the mid-states, I believe they're some of the best wrestlers in the world, independent, beyond. I think we have some of the top tier talent. I really honestly do. I think Luke Langley, you could put him up with anybody in the world. And that's just me saying. But one thing that you kind of left out there, that mid-states would be nothing without Jason Jones, man. I just got to put him over for a second. The moniker, the hardest working man in pro wrestling, is no joke. He came by that honestly. I've never seen somebody put so much blood, sweat, and tears into their promotion. We'd be nothing if it weren't for Jason, right?
Right.
We absolutely wouldn't.
I mean, I really got to know Jason out in Las Vegas last year when he went to the CAC. Spent some time with him and Jimmy Hart, and my wife and I did, and just an absolute class act guy. And he works hard. He puts a lot of work into it. I mean, we talked about it, and first class guy, and I know he puts on a first class show, but like I said, and he treats the talent good, because if you didn't, you wouldn't have the talent you have there.
Oh, I consider him a second father, for real, man. That dude has been there for me for a ton of things in and out of the ring, again, can't put him over enough. Had to make sure.
Oh, glad you did. Yeah, he's a great guy. So, all right, training. Let's talk about your training. Talk to us about what you do.
Absolutely, yeah. So we get in there, man. At least once a week, we all find our way down to Harrison, right? And we're in there, and it's drilling, it's running through matches, it's all sorts of stuff. We're going in there, now we're in the heat of the summer, so it's a sweat off. It's going to be, it's an old brick tin boxing gym, so it's 100 degrees in there easy, right? And we are in there drilling and bumping and throwing on matches and doing things like that. Outside of that, Cannonball and I find time, at least once a week to get together, and we just work on some things, just shotgunning ideas together, chaining a little bit, if not tuning against each other, with each other together, that kind of thing. Just firing up that chemistry, right? Because you want to make sure that team, because we're both all in on it. Outside of that, it's a lot of hitting the gym and a lot of chicken and broccoli, trying to frame up, not the biggest guy in the world, but trying to get there, it's
Yeah, no, you've gotten bigger since I started coming there. I can tell the difference, definitely.
My old man, when I first told him I was going to start wrestling, I had got caught totally by surprise. Told him I was starting to train. He tried to talk me out of it, because the first thing he told me, he looked me in the eye and he said, "Son, you're going to die." Thanks, Dad. Appreciate the vote of confidence.
Well,
but got to prove the old man wrong sometimes, right?
Yeah, sometimes you do. Yeah. Hey, yeah. So, all right, do you have some other events coming up, or are you just kind of August 12th is the main one right now? And
right now,
next month?
yeah. So summer's a little bit quiet. Don't have too much going on elsewhere. August 12th in Springfield. Want to get your tickets as quick as you can, because we are going to turn people away at the door. We've done it 13 times in a row now.
Yeah.
So
every time. I'm glad I get a ticket online. Go to mswtickets.com and get them. I'm telling you, if you don't and you stand at the door, they're going to say sorry. I've seen it. I've been in line going in with my ticket, and Nikki's out there saying, "Sorry, if you don't have a ticket, you're not going to get in tonight."
And you don't want to fight Nikki when she says you can't get in, man. She'll beat you.
No, you don't.
Anybody else in the
back will. Yeah, she's
a fighter.
She's feisty when she has to be.
And
she's a good person.
She's Nikki's sweetheart. I love her to death, man. Yeah. It's a ticket you don't want to miss. I know everybody says it, but I've brought so many people who aren't wrestling fans. Just, hey, get one ticket, try one show. you can't not get sucked into the energy. It's
Yeah.
something special.
Yeah, I was gonna say, were your parents there last time?
Yeah.
I thought they were. I thought I saw them because they would get up. They had these signs for you. And I was like, that's got to be his folks. I think I sat about 3 or 4 chairs from him, and I was like, that's awesome. That's great. I'm glad you have your family support. That's a big help there. I know that is to have their family.
It's been a lot of fun, man. Seeing like from the beginning when they legitimately they're like, hey, we don't know if you should do this, right? Because they were scared and didn't know if it seemed like a great idea. And now my dad's my biggest fan. Like he's got a couple of Alan Jefferson shirts, right? You know, he sports his merch, and it's a cool thing, man. It's fun to get the family involved. They didn't love it. Mom did not love me being a bad guy, but hey, I'm a champion. That's right.
Yeah, you gotta say, Mom. Sometimes you gotta improvise, right?
You got to do what you got to do. You got to turn your back on Springfield sometimes. It's all right.
Yeah. Hey, all right. Ladies and gentlemen, Aerial American, Alan Jefferson, one half of the Mid-States Heavyweight Tag Team Champions, the Fraternity with Cannonball Matthews, who recently beat, I'm going to put you over here, Toxic Masculinity, Johnny Lightning and Johnny Dynamite. In fashion, too. I was there at the match. And
clean as a whistle, I'd say. But
I would say Dynamite was on the floor a lot. I don't know what happened. He just kind of fell off the ring. And
it seems to me like he was trying to not hold on to his tag rope to get an unfair advantage. But we overcame anyway because we're the good guys, Ryan. Because we do it the right way.
Yeah, I know, Ellen. You do.
That's what the petition's about. We do it the right way.
That's right. All right, ladies and gentlemen, one more time, Mr. Alan Jefferson, the Aerial American, thank you for coming on tonight. Really appreciate it.
Brian, thank you so much for having me, man. Had a blast.
You bet.
Have a good
one. You bet. Folks, if you're watching, thank you. If you're listening, thank you. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. And go to that show if you're in Springfield, August 12th, Relic Center. Get your tickets online as soon as possible. All right, take care, everybody.